1.21 isn't really a block-centered update, but it adds blocks that help enhance the blocks that we already have, such as Tuff and Copper, and today, I'm going to show you the practical applications of all of these, because trust me, they're really cool. First off, you have the fishing dock. I really like the use of Tuff on the walls here, and if you step back a little bit, the use of Copper as detailing along the entirety of this really helps with just the look of this entire thing. And in my opinion, it looks really cool with, you know, the big cargo on the top and like the plants. Another thing I'd like to point out really quickly is just how the chiseled Tuff bricks gradient from polished Tuff to just regular stone bricks, because if you get it at this very specific angle, it gradients almost perfectly between the two. And I only noticed that when I was making this, and it is really friggin' cool in my opinion, so you should really try to use that whenever you can. Second on our list, we have the Armadillo Sanctuary. I really like the zoo aesthetic of this entire thing. It looks really cool. It's a nice little build for fairly early game, and, you know, the exposed roof and just the general, like, Badlands theme of this entire thing really helps with the zoo idea, so, you know, that's a good selling point. But, you know, of course, the main part of this build is the armadillos. It's a great way to farm scutes, have a bunch of armadillos contained in one place that you can farm scutes, and just a nice way to have it blend in with the rest of your base. Next up, we have not really a 1.21 build per se, just a 1.21 application for a build. Because, you see, you have this normal house, right? Pretty normal, run-of-the-mill. You walk in, you have the kitchen, you have the living room, you have the basement down there, and up here you have another living room and a bedroom. Standard for a house, I'd say. But making use of a new 1.21 feature known as entity scaling, you can shrink down to the size of a mouse and look at things from a whole different perspective. And trust me, it's really cool. You have the same kitchen and the same living room, except something's different. You can go down little small holes that you couldn't have gone before and, you know, stash away some stuff. Great prank to play on your friends, and a great way to just, you know, roleplay as a mouse, I guess? I mean, to each their own. Of course, it just looks really cool, seeing it from a different perspective. From a perspective that is really friggin' small. And, you know, you basically are in your house, except you're not huge. So, you can just crawl around and be a silly little rat. For number 4, we have... Oh. It's gone. But real quick, jokes aside, I really like glass gradienting. Just like having this really cool light effect with glass. I always love a good use of this. And just gradienting in general from, you know, solid yellow to a more greenish color. Also really cool. But for the real build, we need to look up. 2 things right out of the gate. The nice glow effect with you know, your gold ore and your blocks of raw gold, really nice. It helps, you know, sell the yellow color effect even more, and the waterfalls to have it, you know, more realistic and less defying physics. You can have it just fizzle out like this, and it doesn't, you know, fall all the way down to the floor, because, in my opinion, that looks kind of ugly. And this looks kind of good. But of course, the real main part of this entire build is the top. This nice temple makes great use of Tuff, and it helps kind of tell the story of what's on the chiseled Tuff as more of like a wind temple, hence why it's in the sky, and yeah. But the main part of this also uses entity scaling and a new entity in general called the breeze, because with the breeze, we can get a really cool tornado effect. Look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? I just love how that looks in general, just as like a particle effect. I love it. I don't even know what to say. This was more of like a just random idea that popped into my head, and it was like, oh yeah, no, I am definitely making that in this video, and here it is. Pretty cool in my opinion. Number 5, we have spooky, scary skeletons, but like literally, because you have bogged that are just lying in the ground. This is supposed to be like a mansion in a swamp or something, like your stereotypical haunted house, you know. And, you know, the rotting skeletons just lying about here really helps sell that even more. And because they're on fire, that makes it even more creepier for some reason. I don't know how that works or why it works, it just does. Anyway, the house itself is really cool, but it doesn't really use 1.21 blocks. But I built it, so I'm going to show you anyway. Inside, you have a kitchen, you have a living room, a small bedroom, which you probably will never use because, you know, the infamous 2 sentences. Nope, that's not even 2 sentences. We're redoing that. On the inside, you have your stereotypical kitchen, living room, and bedroom, except the bedroom is kind of useless because of, you know, our favorite sentence, you may not rest now, there are monsters nearby. You have this little attic space, a barbecuing area, and a little other area. I don't know what this is for, but it exists. I really like the use of the cherry wood to make it feel really, really spooky. And it's just a great Halloween build in general. So yeah, build this if you need a Halloween build next year, because it's really cool. Alright, for number 6, now probably the thing you've all been waiting for because you know it's in the thumbnail, the factory. I love this factory in general, minus the 1.21 stuff. It just looks really cool, and it definitely took me far more time than it needed to make this video. But yeah, moving in a little bit closer, the nice use of like Tuff and red, just in general, red, really, really looks pretty good in my opinion. I don't know why, it just, the red and the gray really, you know, contrast well with each other. Moving up a little bit, you have the vaults from the new trial chambers as fans. Now, obviously, this is a creative only thing, because you can only get these things in creative. However, in survival, you could probably just replace it with something else and basically have a similar effect. But the reason I even put the fans there, the vaults, the whatever you want to call them, is because if you are in creative, they're just amazing. They look like fans, kind of, and they also, like, blow out a little bit of smoke particles, so it kind of sells it even more. And, you know, I love that small detail in my builds. You also have these pipes, which really help sell the more abandoned feel of this entire factory, and, you know, they look really good because I feel like they use polished tuff really well. And you have the copper grates and iron bars used together as scaffolding. It looks a little bit messy, but, like, if you can see past the mess of this, you can probably, you know, it looks pretty good, in my opinion, if you can see past all of the, you know, crazy in-your-face stuff. It really helps sell the dilapidated feel of this. Anyway, one thing that I would like to touch upon that isn't 1.21 related is just the use of the signs and all of the iron bars and weird stuff here. It helps it look really, really, like, blown up and, like, scattered everywhere. I don't know how to, like, describe it. It just makes it look really destroyed, significantly more than if you just left it like that without adding all of this cool stuff. And, you know, as I've already said multiple times already, I love details, so it's things like this that really, really, really attract me to a build. And here we are at number 6, which is the temple. Now, just on its own, the outside is a little bit much, but it really helps sell the more, like, you know, trial area of this temple, especially with the sword. It helps sell it and makes it look like a Zelda dungeon, in my opinion. I don't know. It just looks really cool. But if we go on the inside, it looks like a nice hall. I really like it. Everything blends well together. And it was inspired by a shrine from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Specifically Breath of the Wild. And yeah. I think we need some music for this next segment. Of course, why else would I call it a dungeon if it wasn't a dungeon? In here, you have wind charges, and they can be used to, you know, blast yourself up really high. So this is more of like a puzzle, where if you have to do it really precisely, or else you die. And it's really fun. So I'm gonna come back when I actually succeed at this thing. For the record, that was legitimately my second try. Let the record show that I'm pretty good at this. Anyway, we have now the second part of the dungeon, which is literally just this thing. It's basically just a revamped trial chamber, because as much as I like the trial chamber, they don't really fit with my, you know, building style, or like the stories I like to tell through my builds. So, you know, bit of a revamp. And so, it opens up, and gives you this thing, Trial Key, which you can move on to the next room, which contains a vault that I already opened. Ignore that. There we go. A totally real and authentic vault, which you can just pop in here and get a bunch of really neato stuff. Number 7, you have the other thing that was in the thumbnail, the manor. The mansion, the whatever. I actually didn't make it a mansion. I made it like a station, like a building, like a government building, because it kind of looks like Parliament Hill, but not really. So you go inside, right? It's a nice little office. You have probably my new favorite use of like LED lighting, because originally it was like old reliable of like an iron trapdoor over an ochre frog light, but now I may have to change that, just because, you know, the copper trapdoor blends in really well with the copper everything else, because of course it would. So it works really well as like LED lighting of some sort. Of course, you have more like workspaces and offices and stuff, really cool, but if you go up top to the biggest office, you get greeted by a bunch of dogs, because Minecraft finally added dog variants. So yeah, you have your own little like Paw Patrol just ready, sitting around for whenever you need them. Next up, we have an office building. Why did I put an office building here, you may ask? Well, it's because of this. Polished Tuff is basically the perfect in-between between cyan terracotta and some other blocks like light gray concrete. You see? It's almost perfect. Like, it's almost a perfect blend. You go on the inside, pretty cool. I like the inside. I like just building the inside of office buildings. That's what I do a lot in the escapades, because one of my main builds is a mega base, which, by the way, you should go totally check out the escapades. Really fun series that I do. But yeah, you have a really cool like lobby room, and yeah, it's really nice. Over on the back also, this is probably the part where you would put it like up against another building, so you'd create like an alley or something. You can create a really, really nice mural just on the back and just have people look at it. It's really cool, because I also love like big murals in cities, just in the real world and in Minecraft, because they look really cool, in my opinion. Also, with this specific build, can you, by chance, guess the, phase I'm going through right now? I have a severe problem. Anyway, let's not talk about the fact that I'm 3 to 4 years late to the BNA hype train, and, let's get on to the final build of the day, which is the Sanctuary. I like this because, you know, nice use of Tuff just blending in with the cobblestone, and the stone just for random stones, I guess. That's the second time where I've started saying rocks in one of these types of videos, which is really funny.
Large stones, because large stones.
And then you have this thing, the angel statue, which, oh my goodness gracious, I was cooking with this one. You know, you have all your stuff, but like copper bulbs as glowing eyes, really, really looks cool at night. And, you know, chiseled copper as pins also really helps. But, of course, the main attraction of this angel statue is the angel wings. So, yeah. I like it when, you know, the detailing has it so that, like, little feathers pop out in angel wings, just, like, with stairs and stuff. So I tried to do that again. Really cool. And as for everything else, of course, we have the wall all around here, which, you know, that's actually something that I wanted to talk about a little bit, because Grian taught me about this actually in one of his recent Hermitcraft episodes, the concept of adding a bunch of grass around your walls to make it look more realistic, because it makes it look a lot more grown in, because, you know, lawnmowers can't exactly go perfectly against a wall, so just having a bit of grass like that really helps sell it. Also, for the record, the mural from the last build and the statue from this build can all be changed. Like, you can make the mural whatever you want, and you can make the statue whatever you want. For example, yeah, this thing can be basically customized to any sort of thing you want, and, I'm gonna stop before I make another BNA reference. I hope you guys all liked the video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot, and it helps motivate me to make more videos like these. Also, these builds can be applied to both survival or creative, so go nuts with any of these. And yeah, thank you for watching. My name has been Ecstatic, and goodbye.